Imagine a normal day in Alaska. People were doing their everyday tasks. Then, suddenly, the ground began to shake very, very hard. It was not a small shake. This was a powerful earthquake. Things in houses and stores fell from shelves. It felt like the earth itself was moving violently. This strong shaking caused many people to feel immediate fear and terror. This big earthquake was a magnitude 7.3. It hit off the coast of southwest Alaska, just after noon on a Wednesday. The place where the earthquake started, called the epicenter, was about 55 miles south of a small fishing village named Sandpoint. But the shaking was so strong that people felt it very far away. Even in Anchorage, which is almost 600 miles to the northeast, people could feel the ground moving under their feet. Right after the shaking, fear grew for another reason. Loud sirens began to sound across many coastal communities. These were tsunami sirens. A tsunami is a huge ocean wave that can cause terrible damage. Officials quickly sent out emergency warnings. People living in towns near the sea were told to leave their homes at once. They had to go to higher ground, far from the water's edge. From Kodiak Island to the Alaska Peninsula, many communities prepared for a very big wave to hit their shores. Everyone was worried about what might happen next. But then a surprising thing happened. After only a few hours, officials changed the warnings. No big, dangerous wave came to the coast. The highest rise in the ocean's water was very small, just a few centimeters. So the tsunami alerts were completely canceled. Many people had moved to safe places, expecting the worst. But this time, there was no disaster. No one was seriously hurt, and there was no major damage to homes or towns. It was a lucky event that tested how ready people and officials were for such a big natural event. 2. A big earthquake hits. The earth moved suddenly at 12:37 in the afternoon. This big earthquake happened under the Bering Sea, about 55 miles south of a small fishing town called Sandpoint. It was a very strong earthquake, measuring 7.3 on the scale. People felt the ground shake powerfully. Even far away, nearly 600 miles to the northeast in Anchorage, people felt the tremors. The shaking was strong enough to make things fall and houses move. For those near the coast, the biggest worry was what would come next: a tsunami. Minutes after the earthquake, the National Tsunami Warning Center sent out an urgent alert. They issued a tsunami warning for a large part of Alaska's southern coast. This warning covered about 700 miles, from areas near Homer to the end of the Aleutian chain. Many towns and villages, like Kodiak City, King Cove, and Unalaska, were told to be ready for danger. A tsunami warning means that a large and dangerous wave is expected. It tells people to quickly move away from the coast and go to high ground. Everyone understood the danger and started to prepare. But the situation changed quickly. About 1 hour after the first warning, at around 2 p.m., the warning was lowered. It became a tsunami advisory. An advisory means that strong currents or small waves might happen near the shore. It is still not safe to be in the water, but a big flood is not expected. Then, at 2:43 p.m., all alerts were canceled. The warning center had measured the sea level. Near Sandpoint, the water had only risen about 6.3 centimeters, or 2.5 inches. This was a very small rise, not a big wave at all. The danger was over. People could slowly go back to their homes, knowing that the worst had not happened. 3. Towns are empty. After the powerful shaking stopped, a new sound filled the air. Loud tsunami sirens started to wail along Alaska's coast. From Kodiak Island to the Alaska Peninsula, these urgent sounds told people it was time to move. Towns like Kodiak City and King Cove were put on high alert. People in these places knew what to do from past experience. There was no panic. Instead, residents calmly left their homes. They moved quickly and quietly to higher ground. In King Cove, public safety workers sent messages to phones. These messages told everyone in low areas to go uphill right away. In Unalaska, another coastal town, people living near the water were told to go at least 50 feet above sea level, or they could go 1 mile inland. On Kodiak Island, the sirens blared many times that afternoon. This made sure everyone understood the need to evacuate. Hundreds of people from Kodiak gathered on Pillar Mountain, a safe spot often used for this purpose. They chatted and waited for the all-clear signal, showing great calm and order. Even in places not directly in the warning zone, people took action. In Homer, a town on a peninsula, a long line of cars slowly moved uphill. No official siren sounded in Homer, but some residents received alerts on their phones. Many people chose to leave the coastal area by car. The evacuation in Homer was very orderly. One local person, Billy Sullivan, said that cars lined up and people let others merge without panic. He joked that it felt more like a calm outdoor gathering than a crisis. Official alerts reached phones across the state, even in areas far from the coast. In Anchorage, Alaska's largest city, a message flashed on many cell phones. It said, "Be safe, move out of the water." This showed how widely the warning system could reach. While emergency managers later confirmed there was no tsunami threat for Anchorage, the alert had still reached many people. This wide reach sometimes caused a little confusion in safe areas, but it also made sure that many Alaskans were aware and ready to act if danger was real. 4. What people saw. The strong earthquake brought many feelings to the people living in Alaska. Many were at home or in stores when the ground started to shake. In Sand Point, a small fishing village, Debbie Schmidt was eating lunch. She called it the biggest one she had ever felt. Her cupboards shook and dishes fell. Her dog was scared and went under the table. The shaking grew stronger. Things from shelves crashed everywhere. It felt like 45 seconds of very strong movement, which felt like an eternity. In a local store in Sandpoint, many bottles fell from the shelves. There was a terrible smell of broken liquids. But people did not panic. They had lived with earthquakes before. Their past experiences taught them what to do. A neighbor, Tiffany Jackson, also felt the long, strong shake. She quickly knew that after such a big earthquake, a tsunami warning would come. So she took her child and mother-in-law. They moved to higher ground. She tried to record the shaking, but when objects flew off shelves, they left their home fast. Safety was most important. In towns like Kodiak, people felt the quake and acted quickly. Jackson Sarber, a resident, walked away from the city center. He said there was no chaos. People moved calmly and did a good job following directions. They went up Pillar Mountain, a known safe place. Another resident, Marion Owen, chose to stay at her home because it was high enough. Her house was safe in a very big earthquake in 1964, so she felt secure. People in Homer also moved away from the coast. Billy Sullivan from Homer said the evacuation was very orderly. Cars lined up and people were kind to each other, letting others merge without panic. As they waited calmly on hillsides, talking, it felt more like a peaceful outdoor gathering. This calm response showed their understanding of the danger. After some hours, the "all clear" signal came. People could go back home. They were very relieved that no large wave came and, importantly, no one was hurt. This event proved how prepared everyone was for such a moment. 5. The shaking earth. Alaska is a land of many earthquakes. This is because it sits on something called the Pacific Ring of Fire. Imagine a big circle around the Pacific Ocean. This circle is where many volcanoes and earthquakes happen. Alaska is right on this fiery ring. Why does this happen? Under the earth, there are huge pieces of land called tectonic plates. These plates are always moving, but very slowly. In Alaska, two of these big plates meet. One plate, the Pacific Plate, slides under another plate, the North American Plate. This place is called a subduction zone. It's like one big piece of land is going under another. When these plates move and rub together, they create a lot of pressure. Sometimes this pressure becomes too much and the plates suddenly slip. This sudden slip causes the ground to shake. This is an earthquake. Because of this movement, Alaska has many earthquakes and also many volcanoes. The earthquake that caused the tsunami warning was a magnitude 7.3. This kind of earthquake is common for Alaska each year. One expert said it was like an earthquake from a geology book. After the main earthquake, many smaller shakings happened. These are called aftershocks. In the first 3 hours after the big quake, there were 40 aftershocks. Later, there were at least 20 in total. 5 of these aftershocks were larger than magnitude 4. People across the Alaska Peninsula and Kodiak Island felt these smaller shakes. When a large earthquake happens, it can make the ground shake strongly for a long time, sometimes up to a minute. Experts said that aftershocks are normal after such a strong quake. Most of these aftershocks are smaller than the main one. But people living in these areas know they need to be ready for more shaking in the days or weeks after a big earthquake. This shows how active the Earth is in this part of the world. Scientists are watching this area carefully, as it has seen 5 earthquakes of magnitude 7 or higher since 2020. 6. Waiting for the wave. A tsunami is a very large ocean wave. It often begins because of a strong earthquake under the sea. When the ground on the ocean floor moves, it pushes a large amount of water. This creates big waves that can travel across entire oceans. The earthquake near Alaska happened under the sea, about 9 to 12 miles deep. This depth meant it could move water and start a small wave. Scientists try to predict how big a tsunami will be. They use computers and data from sensors all over the world. These tools tell them how strong the earthquake was and where it happened. They also use special tide gauges and buoys in the deep ocean. These help them watch the water for signs of a wave. For this earthquake, early data showed any wave would be small, perhaps only a few centimeters high. Even if a tsunami is expected to be small, officials give a warning to be safe. A small wave can still be dangerous for boats or people near the shore. They want to make sure everyone moves to high ground. An official from Alaska's emergency team explained this. He said they do not know how dangerous a wave is until it reaches a tide gauge on land. Giving an alert first is always the safest choice. After the earthquake, the real wave was very small. Tide gauges at Sandpoint measured it. The water level went up by only about 7 centimeters. This is just a few inches. It was not enough to cause any flooding on land. It was a tsunami, but a very tiny one. When the gauges confirmed its small size, the warning was canceled. People could then go back home safely. Alaska has seen deadly tsunamis before. In 1964, a very powerful earthquake caused a huge, terrible tsunami. That wave killed more than 250 people in Alaska and other states. After that disaster, the National Tsunami Warning Center was built in Alaska. Its job is to watch for tsunamis and warn people quickly. This helps prevent similar events. The state also has a Tsunami Preparedness Week to remind people about dangers and safety. 7. Ready for danger. Alaska often has strong earthquakes and tsunamis. Because of this, the state works hard to be ready for danger. One important program is called To Tsunami Ready. Many towns like Sandpoint, Kodiak, and Unalaska are part of this program. This means they have good plans for warnings and for moving people to safe places. Before this earthquake, the governor of Alaska had even announced a Tsunami Preparedness Week to help people remember to get ready. Officials said these programs helped make the response to the recent quake very orderly. When the earthquake happened, government agencies started working quickly. Alaska's Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, called DHSEM, opened its main emergency center in Anchorage. People there watched what was happening very carefully. They were ready to send help if needed. Experts who study earthquakes were also on high alert. DHSEM used phones and other ways to talk to all the coastal towns, even ones that were far away. They wanted to know if anyone needed urgent help, like medical supplies or food. No one reported any such needs, which was good news. Other parts of the government also helped. The U.S. Geological Survey provided data about the earthquake. The National Weather Service sent updates to the public through the news. On Kodiak Island, the Coast Guard temporarily moved its teams to safe areas. Other military groups, like Alaska's Air Force Base at Adak, got search planes ready just in case they were needed. The state ferry system also stopped its boats in harbors for safety. These actions showed that many different groups were ready to act. The American Red Cross of Alaska also contacted its local teams. The director, Julie Swisher, gave an important message. She said that disasters can happen at any time, often when people do not expect them. So being prepared is very important. She asked families to check their emergency kits and talk about their plans for staying in touch. Even though this earthquake did not cause serious problems, it was a good reminder for everyone. Agencies outside Alaska, like those in Washington and Oregon, also confirmed there was no danger to their coasts. This earthquake and tsunami alert was like a big test for Alaska's safety systems. The warning system worked well. Coastal towns got the alerts fast, and people moved to safe places calmly. There was no panic. One person in Homer said that the evacuation felt like good practice. The tools that measure ocean waves correctly showed that the wave was very small. This allowed officials to cancel the warning quickly. No one was hurt and there was no big damage. This showed that Alaska's plans for danger are working, helping people to stay safe. Life went back to normal soon after, showing how effective the response was. 8. The lesson for the future. The big earthquake that happened was like a very important practice. It was a lucky near miss because no one was seriously hurt and no large tsunami came. But experts like Michael West, who studies earthquakes for the state, want everyone to know that the danger is not over. The area where this earthquake happened can still have more large earthquakes. This is because the Earth's plates are always moving there. This part of Alaska is on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a place known for many earthquakes and volcanoes. So, people must always remember the lessons from this event and stay ready. One of the most important lessons is to always be prepared. Julie Swisher, who works for the Red Cross in Alaska, said that disasters happen when you least expect them. Because of this, being ready beforehand is very important for everyone. Many towns along Alaska's coast are part of a special program called Tsunami Ready. This program helps towns make good plans for how to warn people and how to move them to safe, higher ground when danger comes. This planning made a big difference during this earthquake. People knew exactly what to do. They moved calmly and without panic to safe places. The warning systems also worked very well. Mobile phones gave alerts, and loud sirens sounded in coastal areas. This event showed that Alaska's plans for emergencies are working as they should. Even with this success, there are still important things to learn. For example, some people who lived far from the earthquake zone did not hear about the warning right away. Officials want to make sure that everyone, no matter where they live, gets clear and fast information. They also want to avoid any confusion when alerts are sent out that might not affect a specific area. Although life quickly returned to normal after the earthquake, officials and experts are clear. People should not become relaxed. The ground beneath Alaska is still active, and another big quake could happen at any time. People who live in Alaska know that natural risks are a part of life there. This recent earthquake was a strong reminder of that fact. It clearly showed how being prepared can save lives and keep many people safe. The towns and cities showed they could respond very well. They moved quickly and calmly when the shaking stopped. Now, it is important for everyone, from leaders to citizens, to keep working on improving safety plans. They need to keep checking and testing their warning systems. They also need to continue teaching everyone what to do in an emergency. This way, they will be ready for the next time an event like this happens. Staying alert and prepared is essential for the future in this dynamic region. What do you think is the most important thing for people to do to stay safe when living in a place with natural dangers?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.